What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Closing Beat. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great short weekend, right? We turned our clocks forward. Do you remember to do that? Well, this is our quick stock market show that we do to cover the stock market, the indices, individual stocks, and individual sectors. We're financial advisors here at Jazz Wealth because the shirt says so. We manage retirement accounts for long-term investors, whether it's for retirement or just investing for the long term. And we're the only people that will work with you whether you start with $1 or you already have a bunch of money saved up, give you the same help, the same advice. And so check out our portfolios on our website. We build and manage our own portfolios, by the way. Speaking of that, they had a good day today. Our portfolios did well, mostly because the markets had a good day. Now, today was an interesting day, so we're going to cover this in detail. And if you have questions, I will address those at the end if you want to save them until the end. The Dow was higher by 200 points, S&P added 40, and the Nasdaq added 149. Do you notice a disconnect there just yet? Slide over 1 point over on the little, what you see up there, and you see that the Dow was only up about 0.8%. The S&P added 1.5%. That's crazy, and the Nasdaq adds 2%. Something's a little off balance there. Well, we'll cover that here in just a moment. The markets, now they finished near highs. I'm going to show those on the charts in just a second, but they finished on the highs. That's one positive. And how it happened was another really good positive for the markets if you want them to head lower. So we'll cover that. Down here on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you see the markets minute by minute. That's what happened today. Zero volatility. Well, I can't say zero volatility, but next to no volatility. The markets just started higher and then just slowly went higher. Nobody was scared all day. Any selling was simply day traders taking a little profit on the way up. You didn't dare try to short this market today. Let's cover it. Here we go. S&P 500. This is the interesting thing. We pulled back off resistance. We've talked about this last week. The sectors pulling back into their 50-day moving average, finding support. Well, the S&P 500 is right here at the 200-day. You get a rally that maybe was a little earlier than expected. I'll be honest. I would have expected it to pull back a little bit more, would have hoped it pulled back a little more. Anyways, you get this really strong rally today. S&P 500, we talked about it, 1.5%. Take a look at the Dow. The Dow starts the day lower, erases all of it and goes positive for the day. This is what's so interesting. Number one, any reversal day in a stock market that finishes near highs, you give it a point for strength. You may even give it 2 points. Basically, that just means you don't immediately bet on it falling. Very rare that we turn around and erase all of today's gains, no matter what index you're looking at. So you give it a point for that. Number two, the Dow, about 1% was missing from the Dow because of Boeing. So Boeing obviously had a really bad day today, and we'll cover it. But imagine that, 1%. Boeing had that much pull on the Dow today, 1%. That's how much effect it had on the Dow. So you go, okay, well, that's pretty impressive that the Dow could still finish positive, let alone by almost 1%, but finish near the highs considering what Boeing did today. Now, if you look at the S&P 500, the SPY, Boeing doesn't have as much of a weight, right, in the SPY. Actually, if you look at the Dow, if you want to know some geeky stats, this entire rally right here, this is the Dow, the Dow 30. This entire rally, 22% of it was made up of Boeing. If it wouldn't have been for Boeing, 22% of this entire rally for the year would not have happened. So that shows you how much weight Boeing has in the Dow. Now, it, of course, doesn't have that much weight in the S&P 500. However, it is in the top 20 as far as the biggest in the S&P 500. So also impressive that it can finish near highs, but even though Boeing was holding things back, that the markets still were able to put in that kind of a rally. So I just thought that was interesting. Now, news-wise, we had retail sales come out. I don't know if you've been following us for a while. We talked about the retail sales miss last month. Huge miss, very disappointing overall. Sporting goods, which was the worst performing area of retail sales. Interestingly, Dick's Sporting Goods has earnings tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. But retail sales, very bad. So what happened? Investors expected this retail sales number that came out today to be worse as well, and it was just better. So this keeps happening everywhere where you have everybody expecting much less, and we get just a little bit better than that new less, right? And so we're all impressed. It's happening with earnings. It's happening with these retail numbers. And so because of that, you get a little bit more boost. People falling for that, going, hey, I think the markets aren't going to be as bad as expected. Now, tomorrow you got a Brexit vote. Actually, it'll be like sort of early tomorrow. The Brexit vote, that's the deadline. Tomorrow's the deadline. What's going to happen? Doesn't look good over there, by the way, if you're following along on that. But that could be a market mover tomorrow. I don't know. We'll just hope for the best. But, I mean, it could be a market mover if you're following that. So let's go over to the individual sectors. Transports, I want to point this out because last week we talked about this moving back to the 50-day moving average first before finding some kind of support. Friday mentioned that people already jumped the gun, wanted to be a part of it. So Friday was your hint. You could see support and you could see buyers at support. So not that we recommend short-term trades or anything here, but it gives you a good feeling. If you own some transports, it gives you that feeling like the bleeding may have stopped here in the short term, which still wasn't really that bad of a pullback. So transports back to positive. That's 12 straight days, by the way, that they were lower. So just interesting. I just thought I'd point that out. Looking good if you're playing in the transports. If you like oil, so oil added 1.25% on the day. Basically, this is just moving back to highs. So I drew these little lines to illustrate the resistance overhead, the support down below. We did this weeks ago, or well, 2 weeks ago, and we were able to see on Friday support hold. So that was a very interesting lesson if you happen to follow technical trading. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You got to see investors say, yeah, that's perfect. That's the support they want. Now what happens? On the way back up, thanks to some comments from the Saudi oil minister that they're going to stick with the cuts. They're not going to pull back on the cuts. You got oil headed back to these highs. 58 is your resistance area. So now that support is out of the way, you could just simply look at resistance if you're into the short-term stuff. Semiconductors, really strong day today, actually. 2% gain on the day. Let's just go into it right now. You had Nvida by Mellanox, data center company here. So you see Mellanox at about 118. Now the transaction is going to take place at $125 a share. So Mellanox getting bought by Nvidia. Interestingly, this is, did I say it already? Nvidia's largest acquisition ever. $6.9 billion that they're spending on this company. They outbid Intel. So it was a little bit of behind the scenes aggressive bidding going on. So that helped Nvidia. So there you go. Nvidia with about a 7% gain on the day, moving back towards those highs. So if you can kind of see, we've been talking about resistance here. We'll leave this line here for you. There's your short-term resistance. If you want to see it move out of this downtrend and sort of get excited about maybe a new push higher, well, you got to get over about the 162 area first. So that helped overall. That helped the semiconductors today. Intel, I didn't check that one actually. Let's see what happened. They lost the bid. Stock was still higher by 1.5%. So looking good there. That helped out your tech space. Broad-based tech, your Apples, FANG stocks, things like that, all did well today. Money came back into the market and came back into what's been considered big tech / quality names-ish. So that helped fuel the last rally going into, well, the last of, outside of last summer. And so you're seeing that money come back to the same areas. Speaking of which, you got Apple higher today, finally starting to participate along with the markets. Company was upgraded by Bank of America. They said that their, what did they say? I wrote it down. Inventory levels and growth rates of the services business have caused them to adjust their rating. The reason they say it that way, they completely reverse course. They were negative on Apple. Now they're saying they're positive. There's no in between. They didn't say, well, things are looking better. They went from being negative to being positive. That really helps. The stock was higher by 3.5% today. It's still underperforming the broad markets. And a great way, an easy way to tell if you're brand new to investing is to go, hey, here's this red line on Dustin's chart. The stock price is nowhere near the red line. Let's compare it to the market, the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is above the red line. It's just 200-day moving average. Real simple way to just kind of see where you stand, bullish or bearish. And then you can kind of compare it to other stuff if you really want to get into it, like, well, I don't know, maybe Salesforce, some of the stronger names. Okay, that one's above the 200-day as well. Microsoft, also above the 200-day. And real quick, you could just kind of see, wow, Apple has not really performed. So this could be the first little moment in time where those of you that like to buy those dips get a little confirmation. So here's the first little reversal there that just says, okay, maybe this is the bottom. Now you get a little more confirmation that this thing is going to play along, or if you have been playing along. All right, there's your Boeing shares. Stock was lower by 5 1/3% today, although it was down over 10%. Really bad start. Look at this. Remember we talked about this on Friday. Anytime I can repeat lessons, I'm going to do it to you. We talked about filling the gap. Stocks like to come back and fill gaps before they move on. What on earth does that mean? Here, right here, you got earnings. Here's a gap day, meaning if I move the thing out of the way, see how it finished one day and then just started the next day higher without trading anywhere in between? So stocks like to come back and fill this area in before moving higher. Stocks, here you go. So the stock takes off. It came all the way back down. Where did it stop? Perfectly. Look at where it stopped today. Perfectly at the prior gap there. So technical traders that like to see that or believe in that statistic, they got their confirmation today that it was okay to go invest in Boeing, that pullback right here, this even today, was buyable. Now they had a plane crash over in Ethiopia, second one in a year for the 737 MAX 8, by the way. And so Ethiopian Airlines grounded all 737 MAX 8s. China, the entire country of China, they grounded them. Boeing sending people over there. Is it because something's wrong? Is it just a coincidence? We won't know for a while. So investors just kind of overreacting today, in my opinion, before really knowing anything. And so this one stock shaved 1% off the Dow. So just a couple interesting things there. Now, on the way back up, you got another gap to fill. So it's like putting little puzzles together. We'll cover it as it happens. These are sort of things I like to look at. All right, other than that, sort of a quiet day, or at least the media and everyone seemed to be focused around a handful of names. Tomorrow, Dick's reports earnings. And remember, I should have pulled up the chart. If you're one of our customers, I put it in last Thursday's class. I broke down the entire retail sales report by category, from gas stations to grocery stores, all the way to the right. Worst performing was sporting goods retailers. That'd be your Dick's Sporting Goods, seeing the biggest drop off in retail sales. So they're going to report for the holiday season. Or is it quarter one? No, they're going to report for the holiday season tomorrow. So that'll be a focus there. Also coming through, Stitch Fix. I guess Stitch Fix having a good run here after earnings. We'll cover that one tomorrow. Trading out at 32, way up here. What, about 20%, 19% or so? So Stitch Fix after hours reporting earnings, and the stock price is trading way up here. We'll cover that tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to look at it. Do apologize. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you. Otherwise, I think I've pretty much covered everything today. Most things in the green. You can see them up above. You can see them down below, actually. All the different categories in the S&P 500, all very much positive today. Took me forever to update that thing. Retail, very positive. Good reversal off the 50-day moving average. Communication services. Remember, we talk about these things. I can't tell you when to buy and sell. I can just get excited and nervous about things. That's all I can do. So look, very, very strong that it's holding up here. Everything else took a breather. Communication services did not. Go back a couple days. We'll talk about it in the, try to give you the updates ahead of time for you. All right, happy to answer some questions here, and then we'll wrap it up. Drop back to 26. Oh, okay, you guys are talking about something there. You missed getting in on Friday. Would have been a great increase for you. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. In the short term, I just like showing you guys these things. I mean, I don't know that, I don't know how you guys respond to it or anything. I'm certainly not making any suggestions, but cool. Brandon says you can email, schedule a phone call. Can you schedule a Skype call? Unfortunately, no Skype call. We can do a phone call if you like. Happy to do that. Greetings from Washington. Man, you are a traveler, man. Well, David just flies around everywhere. All right, cool. Let's take a look. So NTRI, what's going on there? It's making it so you're unable to see the performance today on NTRI. Oh, this one, yeah. So this one was halted today, officially halted today. These guys, man, this is going back here a little bit. You're taking me back. We got the alert on this one a while ago. We left the position, by the way. Let me see if I can find the alert. If I can't find the actual alert to send to you, I can't find it. Darn it. I want to send you the actual thing. Officially halted. So it will, if you're one of our customers, by the way, anytime there's a transition to a new symbol, I don't think that was it, new symbol or something was bought out, the system freaks out for a day or two. Actually, it's more than like a couple days because it's looking for that quote. Can't find it until we get that all settled. I think it was, I want to say it was Franklin. Tivity Health. This company got bought out. I thought they were still public. I couldn't remember if they were public or not. Nutrisystem was bought out. I do have the alert here. And that's it. The deal officially closed over the weekend. Would have been the 10th, yesterday. So that's it. Nutrisystem is done getting paid out for that one, and then we'll replace it for sure. That's the third time already in 3 months, which is really, it just gives you a sense of that sort of M&A activity out there. Not quiet at all. There are companies getting bought up left and right. Okay, you got, sorry, you guys are all talking to each other. No problem. Oh, GE had a good day. Yeah, you're right, Nelson. GE had a good day back. It was about 3.5%, it looks like, after kind of getting smacked there, like 30% just in like 8 days. I don't think this is one that goes tearing higher just yet, right? So it's going to be one of those sort of long-term turnarounds because, you know, look what the company's doing. So I don't think it's going to be that crazy. Mario, are you allowed to invest if you're not a United States citizen? You can invest in the U.S. markets. You can't have retirement accounts. We wouldn't be able to work with this, sorry. But you can invest in U.S. markets. You can invest in any market that you like to, really. Warp, you're talking to somebody there, I think. I don't think that's something I mentioned. I don't think that's me. Anyways, I think I covered it there. Wow, a little bit faster than normal. Hey, well, today's sort of a quiet day. Look, we got trade news coming out at the end of the month. We have Brexit vote coming out tomorrow. Couple earnings left over, nothing too exciting there. But we'll cover it as it happens. I appreciate all you guys watching. If I helped you in some way, maybe you'll hit the subscribe button. That would be cool. I appreciate it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.